Hey YouTube, it's James from the Wyvern Watch here, and welcome to another deck profile. I did mention in one of my previous videos, I think it would have been my Ash Barrier deck actually, that I've got a Marincess Anemone in that extra deck, and I did mention then I haven't actually done my Marincess deck profile yet. So here it is. Hasn't been updated for a while, but I'm hoping with the new wave of water support coming shortly from Konami, I'm imagining hopefully there might be a little bit of support for Marincess as well. It has been getting Marincess support throughout the last year or two, but it's just a small amount. And the Link Monster count is getting ever larger, but I've tried to incorporate all of them into my extra deck as usual. It's not necessarily the best way if you want to build this deck competitively, but as usual, I don't. So this is really just to get, show you what a pure build of Marincess could look like, and really just to sort of go over them. I've really put it together because I absolutely love the artwork once again. Marincess Blue Tang being my favourite out of them, but I'll get to that shortly. So much so that we did go to the extent of going for the Starlight Marincess Seahorse, but that'll come up very shortly anyway. So on to the deck profile then. So let's just get a little bit more organised here. Well, why not? We'll kick things off with Marincess Seahorse. I actually picked these up prior to Chaos Impact, which is when Blue Tang came out, and all of a sudden it became a potential meta-relevant deck. Now, it never actually made it because everyone thought this was going to be the new Salamangreat of water attribute. And although it is very good, it just never quite made it to the top tier sort of level. So I managed to pick up these relatively cheaply. So I've kept them in my possession for a long time now. But yeah, they're beautiful. And Marincess Seahorse herself, will special herself to a zone that a Link Monster points to, and she can also banish one water monster and then special one from the hand as well. So pretty useful card, and obviously as a combo with the Blue Tang as well. Speaking of Marincess Blue Tang, absolutely stunning looking card, of course. Most of my decks do have this sort of element, but this is the sort of first print from Chaos Impact. Couldn't wait to get my hands on her. But yeah, she's sort of made the deck viable really, because obviously she can add a Marincess monster from deck to hand, and if she's used as material, she can excavate the top three from your deck, and then she adds one Marincess card to your hand. So yeah, it is a very, very good card, that, to be fair, and one we can't miss on 3. And this is one of the newer ones actually, Marincess Spring Girl. Again, a good looking one, but I think she's pretty much an instant sort of 3 of really. I'm hoping those are in the middle. I think so, somewhere around there. But she can special herself for a hand, which basically makes her a really good extender. And she also has a burn effect as well, which I don't think comes up an awful lot, but it's there if you need it as well, but primarily her being an extender. We then have Marincess Pascalis, still at 3. All these are 3 so far. I think I've been toying with the numbers on Pascalis, but I think 3 is still right. If you're building a pure deck, of course. Sorry, I think that's a bit too high. Because she can special summon a Marincess monster from your hand, of course, extending in defense position, but she can also banish from the graveyard to add a spell or trap, so extremely handy. And then this card, Marincess Mandarin, this one's at 2 now. Again, I've had this one in since Chaos Impact as well. I don't think it has had as good an impact as perhaps Blue Tang did, but still a great card nonetheless. But she's normally, we usually her for a graveyard effects really. So you can target one water Link monster we control and special summon this card to a zone that monster points to. So it's just another extender. I mean, basically this deck's full of extenders because what we want to do is link climb. This is also one of the newer ones. This is Marincess Sleepy Maiden. So Sleepy, she can also special summon herself from the hand, but she can also banish herself from the graveyard to equip one link monster from the graveyard to a link monster you control. So sorry, to equip a link monster that we control, basically. Yeah. So yeah, again, nice addition, but it could be swapped out if there was something better to come in. And just the one off on Marincess Basilamlima. Okay, no, that's another mouthful for me, I'm afraid. But she offers a bit of protection while she's in the graveyard and searches a trap. And you can also banish her to gain 600 on a Marincess monster. Last of the monsters for this particular profile, we've got 3 Silent Sea Nettles, which act as our sort of extender for the deck again. Because like I say, we're just trying to put as many water monsters on the board as possible. Yeah, they're literally simply an extender, but also offers a little bit of recursion by targeting 3 monsters in your graveyard and shuffle them back into the deck, which can be really useful, of course, if you've already used your Crystal Heart or maybe ran out of slugs or something like that. So that's what they're in there for. Moving swiftly on to spells, we've got Marincess Dive. Again, one of the newer cards, but in my opinion, still a definite 3 of. Really pretty card again on this one. Really like the artwork on that sort of combination of blue tank, and I think that's the Sleepy Angel, I think. Sleepy Angel? Was it Sleepy Angel? Sleepy Maiden, I'm so sorry. Sleepy Maiden, that's what I meant. Well, we were there or thereabouts, weren't we? But yeah, the dive obviously does lock you into water monsters, which isn't an issue in this deck because every single monster in this deck is a water monster, so nothing too much to worry about there. You can special summon a Marincess monster from your graveyard, great. But if you've got Battle Ocean on the field, you can special summon any Marincess monster from the deck. So yeah, I mean, for me, an absolute 3 of, no doubt about it. Other 3 ofs, just got a Cynet Mining as well. I still don't really know why you wouldn't play 3 Cynet Mining in a Cyberse deck. But obviously, you know, we know what Cynet Mining does. But yeah, running at 3. Now back onto 2 ofs. So yeah, I've got 2 Battle Oceans. So I've seen lots of builds that will run this at 1. With it being a pure build, and I probably would drop it to 1 if we had another component in the deck, but we don't. This is a pure build. I want to run it at 3 just in case we get one of these banished. People understand how important this card is, so it's important just to make sure there's a little bit of backup. But you gain all Marincess monsters gain 200 attack while it's on the field anyway. Also, each one gains 600 attack for each Marincess card equipped to it. So it doesn't have to be a link monster necessarily, but you can obviously equip it. And then if we're using Crystal Heart as a material, we're also unaffected by card effects. And when you link summon a Marincess monster to the extra monster zone, you can equip 3 Marincess link monsters with different names from your graveyard to that link summon monster. But does quite a lot, but obviously can create that towers effect that people have been love to deal with, of course. Okay, moving away from the archetype just for a second, I've also gone for 2 Pinpoint Landing, mainly because the theme's quite cool, because obviously it's got a water theme going on here. But just in case you don't know what Pinpoint Landing does, if exactly 1 monster is special summoned from the hand to your field, you can draw 1 card. you can only use each effect of pinpoint lightning once per turn, and during your end phase, if you have not drawn a card by this effect this turn, send this card to the graveyard. But we've got that many extenders from the hand, then ordinarily we can probably try and keep these on the field. So, and the extra draw, of course, means that you're going into your extenders more and more anyway. So hopefully that's a good choice, but see how you feel. And I haven't seen many other builds with that, to be honest. That was just a bit of a tech from myself. A couple of spell one-offs here, no need to explain them, but obviously Foolish Burial is dumping the Mandarin, or, well, in fact, a fair few of them have got graveyard effects, so dump any of those, to be honest. Ooh, well, that's the traps all over the floor. Hang on a second, sorry about this. Oh, literally all over the floor as well. I don't know how they've managed to get muddled up in that state. Oh. Right, sorry about that. So, Marincess Wave at 3. Again, I can't really understand why you wouldn't run Wave at 3, but if you control a Marincess monster, Link monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of the turn. Then if you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of the turn. If you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this from your hand as well. So it offers great protection for once you've built your board. We also have 3 Paleozoic Deinamiscus, that's it. Again, I'm struggling to say some of these names. But, you know, ordinarily we don't really need to explain this one. But I'll just double check that people have seen it, because maybe people haven't seen it for a while, to be fair, because Paleozoic decks haven't been around for a while. But target one face-up monster on the field and discard one card. And if you do, banish it. Once per chain, when a trap card is activated while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card as a normal monster. Aqua Water, level 2, attack 200, defense 0. This card is treated as a trap. This card is not treated as a trap. If summoned this way, this card is unaffected by monster effects. Also banish it when it leaves the field. So, you know, a couple of different effects there, but getting that, you know, water monster back on the field, of course, means that we can use it for Link summoning. That's the theory, of course, as well. Just 2 Solemn Judgments on this one as well. Just obviously they can be absolutely devastating, but we all know what Solemn Judgment does. But they're here to sort of, once again, protect your towers once you've built your board, or any other devastating effects. And we've also got the 2 one-offs on the 2 traps as well. Again, these aren't commonly played and can be easily switched out with other things. But the circulation basically means you can switch out a Link monster. So once you've got, let's say you've Link crowned into a level 4 or whatever, ranked Link 4, sorry. This trap will allow you to switch it out with another Link 4. And you can use it from your hand if you've got that Link 3 or 4 on the field. And also Bubble Ring negates an attack, and then special summons Crystal Heart from the deck or graveyard, from your extra deck or graveyard, which is really, really good, because obviously it means that you can recur that one Crystal Heart that we are running, and hope potentially use it more than once. So that's the idea. That's it for the main deck, guys. I'll come back to comments and stuff in a bit, but let's just rattle off the extra deck while we're still going through it. There's a fair amount here, so I'll just rattle through, and I appreciate we're running low on time here. So we have got 2 Blue Slugs, which, you know, normally is a 2 or a 3 in any Marincess deck, I would say. But obviously in this particular build, I am running it at 2. Just push those up, see if we can get the whole extra deck on. 1 Marincess Sea Angel, which is part of the combination, just to try and link line up into either Marble Rock or one of the 4s. Marincess Crystal Heart, we've spoken about what that does, but obviously means that one of your monsters is going to be completely protected. 2 Marincess Coral Anemone, really good in any water deck, really. Probably should think about putting one in my Legendary Fisherman deck actually, but I've gone with a different route for that one. One Splash Mage as well goes with the theory and the sort of the theme of the water attribute. So again, no problems there. I've got one Coral Triangle and one Marble Drop for the Link 3s, which, you know, the Coral Triangle is one of the new ones, but Marble Rock is the old faithful, but that's gone down from having sort of 2 copies down to 1 just to fit some of these Link 4s in. I've got one Argonaut, of course, which is really you go to sort of like Link 4 now, but I've still got a Great Bubble Reef in there and a Wonder Heart. I've also kept on with World Sea Dragon Zilantis, which is the second deck I run this in. I think you'll have seen it in my Legendary Fisherman deck as well. It should even be in my Ice Barrier deck as well, but we just left that alone. Seems more fitting in this deck anyway, I believe. So I'm just trying to edge that on the board there. And obviously, we also run Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome as well, just because, you know, they're all level 4s, the main deck monsters, so we can easily get those out. So obviously, primarily a Link deck in this occasion, so but plenty of scope. I mean, so, you know, you don't need to play all of the the Link 4s, or indeed one of the Link 3s. You know, if you wanted to put a little bit of diversity in there, then of course you can do without too much trouble. Just pop that there a sec. A lot of the cards in the extra deck, of course, in the main deck can also be switched out for preferable engines, hand traps, whatever you want to put in there, because there's loads of scope in there. You don't need to play those 2 traps at the end. You don't need to play all the monsters that I played. But like I say, with myself, I'm now up to 48 decks. So if you think I've got 48 play sets of Ash Blossom or Infinite Impermanence, then I haven't, believe it or not. So not every deck can have them. But if we're gonna take this competitively, of course I'll be adding those in there. It's what you make of the deck, really. And like I say, I build multiple decks mainly because of the artwork. I like to buy the high rarity stuff because I can get it fairly cheaply once it's moved out of fashion, i.e. the deck's not being played anymore. But also they hold their value. You know, they hold their value pretty well. So when I come to sell my collection later on in life, certainly not anytime soon, hopefully I'll get some money back for them. Guys, that's the end of my deck profile. Please, on this occasion, the comments are more and more appropriate, because as the support does come out, I'm hoping that I can change this deck and potentially do another profile later on this year, if I have made any changes. But if you want to suggest anything, feel free to put in the comments. That's where I get my value out of doing these videos for you. Throw us a like, obviously subscribe. I'm now up to 211 subscribers, I think, at last count. So I really appreciate all your support, and I'll continue to do these videos as much as for as long as you guys keep liking them. So once again, guys, we'll see you on the next profile.